Toby gagged and vomited right as I started this video. Hi guys, it's Jessica here. I have a little video for you. It's not the big updates that I still need to make, but I'm doing what I feel inspired to make today, which is going to be about these girls and about traveling with your dolls. And I will say that I will say right off that I have never traveled with my dolls. Well, actually that's not true. I did drive down to visit my mom and my sister a few years back, and it was just me in the car, so I took like 2 or 3 of my dolls, and they were all SD dolls, and I seat belted them in. But other than that, I didn't do anything special to bring them or anything. They just got seat belted in, and we went. But I kind of wanted to talk about some things that I've been working on for the potential of traveling or taking dolls someplace. And these are my 2 little merry doll round pygmies. This girl is Dango, and then this girl is Moose, and my names for them are Acorn and Hazel. Hazel just got her new wig in. It is a beautiful, gorgeous, moderately vivid wig. And he is on Instagram if you would like him to make your doll a wig. Yeah, it just came in last night, and it is so beautiful. The colors in this are just so gorgeous. Acorns Wig is a Kagami Designs Wig. It was one that she had in her shop, and it sat there. It's a beautiful wig, but it sat there for like a year. And then she had like a 40-50% sale on it, so then I bought it. Yeah, so these girls, they got some new clothes. I'm very inspired by fall fashion, autumn colors, Halloween type vibe. So these girls, they got their little witch hats, and the clothes that they are wearing are inspired by 1960s style jumpers, and this was the meaning of the word jumper that I grew up with, which was basically a skirt combined. It's a dress essentially. So, but it's like you wear a turtleneck or some sort of shirt underneath it, and tights. Like that's the kind of the typical design of it. And sometimes instead of a dress, it would be like shorts, and I think that that's called a romper. But when I was growing up, I think it meant both of those. But there's been like kind of resurgence in people making rompers for their dolls and stuff, and that's a short and shirt combination. But this was my definition. I grew up as a kid. This is what a jumper was. And I think in the UK at least, or I don't know if it's Europe, all of Europe, but in the UK at least, I think a jumper means like a sweater. And I don't know if they have the word sweater, but I think all I've heard is jumper. And so sometimes when I look on Etsy, if I look up jumper, it'll be a bunch of sweaters. So when I first kind of came into the doll world, that kind of confused me. But when I was growing up, thongs were things that you wore on your feet. And I don't know when that became something else entirely, but we don't call them thongs anymore, though some of us still do. Yeah, anyways. So I'll kind of talk about each one of these. So I'm still kind of working on perfecting the pattern of this, because it was a pattern I kind of made on my own. And I'm going to take her little hat off just because it makes it easier to see things. It does have a little zipper in the back. This was the first one I made and really struggled with the zipper. I wanted to make it an invisible zipper, but I didn't leave myself enough to do that, and it was getting really bulky. This fabric, it is it's not a super thick corduroy, but when you start doubling up a few times at this scale, it really adds a lot of bulk. So it's got pockets. It's got pockets here. It's totally lined. You can see, let's see, how can I show that? Totally lined. And the one thing that I don't like is I want this seam, I want it to be more here. So I was kind of unhappy with that, and I tried to correct it in the second one I made, and it still ended up, I just didn't quite measure right. And I made a little belt to go with it, and I used some of the embroidery stitches. I just have a few kind of simple ones, and I did some embroidery stitches on the front of this. And I made the little turtleneck. And I actually didn't make these. I forgot that I didn't make these leggings. These are something I got from Cool Cat a long time ago. And then she's got some little A-zone shoes. Yeah, this is a Kagami Designs Wig. And I don't actually know who made her eyes. I think they came with her, as far as I know. And she has a face-up by Nuria of Married All Round, the sculptor. But I'm really inspired by the fall colors right now, and in my book, purples and burgundies have always been fall colors. Somebody was saying to me, oh, it's supposed to be in this fall, and I'm like, it's always in. What are you talking about? I don't have to have an excuse. So here's Hazel, and I kind of like the way she looked without a turtleneck underneath this. So she doesn't have anything underneath it up there, but she does have these leggings that I made her, and little zipper. And it did go a little better. It's a little straighter, a little nicer, though I still wasn't able to make it a fully hidden zipper. It just caused too much bulk when I tried to do that. Oh, you can see her belt just kind of floats back here because I couldn't bother putting a buckle on the back there. And it's fully lined. You can see. Got working pockets. Neither one of these girls got pockets in the back because there just wasn't enough room, and I think if I could get this seam more up front here, then I would have more room to put pockets in the back, because I really would like them to have some pockets in the back too. I just looked at a bunch of pictures I just basically Googled jumpers, 1960s jumpers, vintage, and just kind of looked through the pictures that kind of looked familiar to me and things that I remember, and just kind of put them together and kind of into my own style. And so I didn't find anything that looked exactly like this, but took components of things. So I don't want to say it's 100% accurate, but it's still kind of my own thing. Each of these has these belt loop buckles, and I decided to put a couple up front, and the belt does help for them to be seen, but I wish I would have left these out so that I could have put a belt buckle in front, because that visually looks really nice. So yeah, I mean, these I don't know if I will go and remake them, if I'll come back to that, but there's little things I dislike and like about each one of them. But I was really interested in the Mary Doll round pygmies for a number of reasons. One, they can wear Blythe clothes, and Blythe clothes, there's just a lot of options out there, and there's a lot of patterns. I like that too, is that there's if you look at BJD patterns, there's a lot less choices than when you look up Blythe patterns. There is just decades of things, because Blythe have been around. Well, I mean, the originals came out, I think, 76, but then they Takara re-released them mid 90s. So they've just been a little more out there, and there's more, and it's just the one body shape basically. So there's just a lot more available. But anyways, the other reason that I was really interested in getting a few of these pygmies was if I was going to travel, and there wasn't really anything on the horizon. I haven't actually been able to travel. Just even flying to stay with my family for a holiday, that sort of thing. I just haven't been able to do that because of my health. I would have to have several days on either side just to deal with the effects of traveling. But my husband and I, we decided that we're going to try, we're going to take a vacation in January, February, and we're going to go to Mexico. And we've been to Mexico. We had our wedding there, our wedding and our honeymoon, and we went back and visited 2 more times after that. Those 2 times that we went, it was kind of this thing that we'd already kind of planned it, but I was really sick, and so it was one of those things that if I could have had my way, I wouldn't have gone, because I just was sick, and really traveling, it can take, especially with layovers and that. I remember one leg of our trip on one of those trips was almost 24 hours before when we left for when we got here, and that just murders me. Like, then I can't function for a week, and I can't take a vacation and then miss a week of work. So we haven't done any traveling, because there just was no point. I would just lay in bed and not spend all this money to go someplace and do something, and just stay in the hotel and be sick. So but I'm actually really, really excited about this. I feel my health has definitely improved when I look at myself 2 years back, what I can do and what I can accomplish now versus then. It's not 100%, but I have made so much improvement that I think, going on a trip like this is something, I could actually do. It's not a full week, I don't think. It's going to be more like 6 days, but and there'll be a day that we're home that I'll be able to recover and then go to work type of situation. So and it's just been really hard with if I went to go visit my family, I'd spend 8 hours or more traveling. Even with flying, you're looking at 6 to 8 hours depending on where I land and who picks me up and that sort of thing. So I just couldn't do it. Like, it just the logistics of it. But I'm finally feeling like yeah, that maybe I could get some enjoyment out of going on this trip. And it's not like I can go hike for 10 hours or something like that, unfortunately, which I would love to be able to do more outdoor things like that in a beautiful place like that. But I'm not there. And like we talked about, maybe going to Europe, so we could go visit places there, and that is just like, it would be such a waste because I literally would not be able to do anything. Like, the whole point for me I'd want to go to as many museums as I could. I'd want to see as many things as I could, and barring getting a wheelchair, like for my fatigue and that, it just wouldn't happen. If I did do it one day, then I would be bedridden the rest of the week. So but again, I'm diverging. Things are going better, and I feel like I could actually get some enjoyment out of the trip. So 2 things that I've been kind of having fun planning and thinking about is bringing some dolls, and then the other is making a little art kit. So kind of like plein air type situation. I'll probably it's not going to be anything super fancy, but I do want to bring some watercolors and some sketchbooks, and do a little art. But with the dolls, I'm focusing on my 2 little my little pygmies, because they're going to be the easiest. I will be flying, of course, and I know we can have at least 1 regular size carry-on. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to have 2, but I just realized that Lola is really snoring. I took Toby's bone away from him just before I started this, and he was gagging right as I started the movie. But I did take his bone, so you guys don't have to listen to him chew on his bone the whole movie. But yes, these guys, they're small enough that I can fit them safely into my carry-on and still be able to carry other critical things with me that I need. Things like medications and a change of clothes. That's one thing that we learned on one of our trips. My husband put his heart medications in his in the cargo, basically. So, and they ended up losing our luggage, and we didn't get it for like the first 2.5, 3 days down, almost half the trip. So he didn't have his medications, which was really upsetting for me. He didn't care as much about that part. He just didn't like that he didn't have his shorts and things like that, so that he could go out and enjoy, because it was winter, it was snow up to here, and we were all bundled up and that's all he had in Mexico. So we learned the hard way that you need to put those critical type of things, at least a change of clothes, so that if your bag is lost, or that it's not that it's lost for good, just that you might not have it for a few days, are you going to be okay type of situation. So we learned from that. So I didn't want these girls to take up very much space. And so I'll show you. This is a little, I don't know, I remember getting it, I think at Walmart during a time when it was like back to school. And so I think it was like meant for pens and pencils. And I've been using it for several years here to hold my crochet supplies, so crochet hooks and place counters and things like that. Well, what I discovered is that I can actually fit both of these girls in here. And you can't put them in perfectly standing up, but I'm able to kind of a little yin yang thing. One's head's down here and the other one's head is up here, and they're kind of in the fetal position. Then I can get them to both fit in here securely. And you can't really fit much of anything else. I'll show you what I've got here. And then I want to bring clothes for them. I want to be working on some clothes. I have several months here to be working on clothes for them. I just want to be able to have a lot of options for them. But this, oh yeah, I couldn't remember if I'd left this in here or not. This is my toothbrush. No. These toothbrushes are great for combing doll hair, and these are the two, like if you have a doll that has a real fiber wig, you've got to have these things. So they get messed up so easily. So I've got a comb, the toothbrush, which makes a great brush, and then I'd ordered these little water bottle, because that's the other thing, is a little bit of water on the brush or the comb, and you can really quickly fix their hair. So I've ordered these little water bottles that I'm going to put in here. They're very, very tiny. One carries 5 mLs and the other carries 12. And I wanted them, one for my dolls that I would put in here, so that I would at least have that so I could fix their hair, like if I wanted to take them out on the plane, take some pictures on the plane, because I think those are really cute. Just really quickly, these are the things that I would carry with me with the dolls. And I've got the little, they're those, what do they call these things? Hair nets that you can put doll wigs in, but I basically put each doll into their own little hair net, and it keeps their hair from getting all screwed up. Yeah, so they can both fit in there, and if I can figure it out here, I'll try to insert some pictures that I took of them in here, and show that. I've bought a few other things that were pretty cheap on AliExpress as potential carry cases. I'm going to see how big they are and how much bulk they take, but I mean, you really can't put much else in here but these 2 dolls. But my plan is to, extra doll clothes and shoes and that sort of thing. That's fine. That can just go in my luggage. It's going to go in cargo. If it gets lost the whole trip, oh well, Or if it gets lost completely, like, that's not great. But I would never ever put my dolls in cargo. If something happened, there's always that possibility that your luggage can go bye-bye. Don't put something valuable like your expensive camera or your expensive dolls in your luggage. I mean, that's my opinion anyways. Their dolls are only ever going to go carry on. Okay. So I wanted to move on to show some of the other things that I have made for taking dolls and traveling with dolls. And these are not ones that they're not going to be going to Mexico with us. These dolls, these cases are bigger than what I would want to take in a carry-on. So I'm sorry, Lola is snoring away. Let me see, how do I want to do this? Dropping stuff. Okay. Let's see if I come in here. Can you see what I've got here? So this is a violin case. And it's got a cloth cover, but it's hard and rigid. So, even if you sat on this or something heavy was put on top of it, your doll is going to be protected. And so these, I'll try to put a link to, I got this off eBay, and I want to say with shipping and everything, I don't think it was more, it was somewhere between $15 and $20. So and there's a ton of them on eBay. If you look up these, you will see a ton of them. They're not over $20. And I guess I'll go back a little bit, is that I was looking for doll cases with the idea that for traveling, either going on a plane or just driving somewhere, you know, just traveling with dolls, and that you want to keep them safe. And all of the doll carrying bags are ridiculous. Like the one that was for 70 centimeter dolls, it was on one of the doll websites, or maybe it was on, I'm pretty sure it was on eBay, but I've seen it some other places too. And it was 100%, I had just been looking at it because I was looking at other things to see what they could be repurposed for the deal was. And this was basically a telescoping stand holder. And so it was really, really long. It's round and long and tubular, and just fabric. Like, you could wad it up in a ball if there was anything in it. Nothing to protect your doll. And I'm like, they're selling this on the site as a good thing to do. Like, shove your 70 centimeter, $800 doll in here and put it over your shoulder and it's great. No. No, 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 no. Unfortunately, this does not work for 70 centimeter dolls. Let me take that back. It does work for them if they aren't really large feet. If they aren't Dolce dolls with like 10 centimeter, 11 centimeter feet. Because I think I was able to get the Dolce Pure Body to fit in this. And so I worked on this. Let's see, can you see this? I worked on this summer. And when you buy this, it has the shaping in it to hold a violin. So it's got things in it. It's got a part here to hold the bridge up. And so I took a X-Acto knife to this, and I peeled up all of this little fabric stuff. And you can kind of see, I didn't go out of my way to recover this with nice fabric or anything. I just reused the fabric that was in here and used Mod Podge to glue it back down. And I'll try to remember to, if I can find those pictures of when I did this project this summer. And it's just the styrofoam. It's the styrofoam case. So, you know, I probably still wouldn't put this in luggage or anything, because you pile a bunch of heavy, really super heavy luggage on top of this that maybe it could potentially crack. But like if you're putting your doll in here and you're carrying it, you're even as a carry-on or traveling. Let me grab doll here. And I think Herla was one of, old Herla here, who I call Helena now. I think she was one of the first dolls who got to try this out. And so, yeah, she even fits in here in wearing her boots. I don't know. I might not be able to close it with her wearing these boots. Maybe I did do it the other way. Yeah, I think I probably did have to take off her boots to get her to fit. So she's on the original Twigling body, which was about 60, almost 67 centimeters. You can't get that same configuration body now, and it's more like 65 centimeters now. So, okay, yep, I had to take her boots off, and then, so her head and shoulders are down here at the wide part, and her feet are down there, so I would probably put, this is a pillow from something, some sort of, I'd probably put a face protector on her, and wrap her up a little bit. What I wanted to do was actually make like a blanket that she could kind of roll up in, and tie, and this thing has a zipper, and it actually, I think, came with the strap too. I don't know. There we go. Yeah, it came with these. You could put it on like a backpack if you wanted to, but you know, she's not flopping around in there, especially when I put that blanket in there. So yeah, so you can get these same price or cheaper than those repurposed telescope stand that they sell online as doll carriers. So terrible. I think I had posted some pictures online of Helena in her casket here. She's still one of my most favorite dolls. She's so pretty. And I love this original Twigling body so much. Okay. Yeah, so she's 67 centimeters. You could see how she could fit in there. Some of the 70 centimeter boys you can get in here if their feet aren't too big. Most of the dolls are going to have to take off any type of shoes because sometimes they have to bend their feet down a little bit. So I'm still working on an option for the bigger dolls, for like the 70 centimeter dolls, and I just haven't gotten to it yet, but some of the really long rifle cases might be an option for that. Okay, and you can see that this says 4'4", and I think that's what it says on the description for this, is size 4'4" violin case. And a lot of people suggested, oh, get a Viola case, and there aren't any. There are some cases that potentially would work, but they're very expensive, which, you know, I was much more willing to pay, $18 for this, and if my idea just didn't work at all, and I couldn't use it, then, no biggie. Like, it wasn't a huge loss. But I don't want to buy some sort of case for $200 and not be able to use it. So, all right. Okay, so this is actually the project that I just completed today. Let's see if I can. Just completed this today. I've had this a very long time. It was a case that was for photography and like putting like lenses and things and parts to your camera. And they have these, again, you can get these on like AliExpress and under gun cases or camera lens cases, and so I've had this for years and years. When we had that bad storm back in 2008. So it's been 10 years, right? I've had this thing and I've never used it. So today I finished this project. Let me make sure that I'm opening this properly. So I learned how to do this from the model horse hobby. And this is something that they do. They take gun cases or cases like this, and inside there is just a flat pad of foam that has been cut in a grid, and you can take out little one square at a time to make the shape of whatever it is that you're trying to put in here. And that's what I've done with this. And so if you look up model horse hobby and the cases that they make, you'll see a lot of this. And I've been aware of that for a few years too, and been wanting to give it a try with this case that I've had for 10 years. And no, this isn't a model horse, but this is my Chibi Moon, my Lily Cat Chibi Moon, hybrided onto a real fee centaur body. And this is one of those videos that I need to make for you guys, because I need to talk about this. But she is, yeah, I absolutely love this hybrid. It is wonderful. And now she has this little case. I'm going to set her down over here. So I will insert some photos of the process and how I removed these squares, and then this is just you know, a satin or sateen fabric that I got at Joann's, and in this light it's very bluish tinged. I thought it was white, but it's actually it's white with a blue tinge on the back, so it makes it look actually bluish tinged. But most people do put something very, very light that isn't going to hurt their model horses. Model horses can be very, very expensive too. They oftentimes are made and cast from resin, and then they have immaculate paint jobs that can cost hundreds of dollars. Yeah, so they want to protect those, and they will put each one into a handmade case like this. Yeah, if you look up like handgun cases, they have some cheaper plastic ones that you can get for $10–15, and it comes with the foam already in it, so it's not like you have to do this fabric, like it's not that big a deal. I guess if the foam is black, there's a potential that it could sit against your resin and stain it or something. This one says Digicom. Like I said, this is old. I've had this a very long time, and it actually has I can put a strap on here. So finally, after all these years, I've used this. Yeah. So if you were looking for ideas on how to travel or safely carry your dolls around, those were some ideas. And when I have my trip to Mexico this year, I'll let you guys know how it goes. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.